All right, enough not happy videos. How about one that's kind of happy, or one that's, how do I put it? One that we can all have a laugh at. Now, I recently was shared an article titled "The Dangerous Rise of Men Who Won't Date Woke Women. Women.
What's a women, Ren?
You be satisfied with what you get.
Okay.
As I've often said, it is my, how do I put this? Is my understanding of the overly woke as people that are deeply unhappy with themselves. And so they often find themselves projecting it upon others, which is why we don't like them. However, if you understand dating, you understand that it isn't necessarily that they're woke that's bad, and that's bad enough, but it's that they don't like themselves. I've often said the same people screeching online about, but where are her organs? They're usually ugly people. If they're not physically unattractive, their personality is just as. Sometimes you get the doubler. You get both.
Whoa, what? Shake it up, because otherwise we're all maybe gonna die sooner than we think.
That's always fun. But nonetheless, I think that people that rail against attractive females are just, again, deeply unhappy with their own physical appearance, and they want everyone else to be as ugly as they are on the inside and the out. Now, this article, "The Dangerous Rise of Women Who Won't Date Woke Women," is hilarious. It starts out saying, "The word irrespective means saying or doing something without taking anything into account." This is like high school level writing, starting off with an attention grabber, a definition, certainly played out, but it goes on. For example, irrespective of the fact that the cost of living has jumped, putting pressure on many people, the government plowed on with Brexit and argued that there would be no real economic impact. So we can see where this is going. So it's fitting that white man of the moment, Lawrence Fox, who appeared on the BBC's Question Time program, told a BAME audience member that Meghan Markle has not been on the receiving end of isms before subsequently appearing on the cover of Sunday Times to tell the world that he does not date woke women. I don't either. I wouldn't. Most of my friends would not. And then displaying an appalling understanding of history, calling the inclusion of a Sikh soldier in Sam Menn's film 1917 incourageous, has irrespective tattooed on his arm. Did you hear that at the back, ladies? Lawrence Fox, do you understand who you perhaps only knew as Billy Piper's ex-husband before you've never seen Lewis, does not date woke women, who he believes are being taught that they are victims irrespective of whether they are right or not. He thinks that institutional isms to tell the story of the First World War in a racially diverse way, irrespective of the fact that Sikh soldiers absolutely did fight for Britain. And he also doesn't believe in white privilege. Shocking. Irrespective of the fact that he works in a painfully undiverse industry, was privately educated, and comes from a wealthy acting family, which is nothing short of a dynasty. Fox denying these things, irrespective of whether or not they exist, it's nothing short of gaslighting. It's all very, here we go, Donald Trump. As you would expect, the whole debacle has lit a fire under the anti-woke poster boy, Piers Morgan, while gaining Fox thousands of extra Twitter followers. So let me ask you this. Wouldn't you agree then that's probably a consensus that people probably agree with him? I suppose there could be some hate followers there, but I doubt it. I could go over all the things he said. And I could use data to prove how wrong he is. Well, you're not going to do that. We all know that. I could express concern for his mental health. I could make jokes about his behavior, but that would be to seriously miss the point. There's nothing funny about the things Fox, or Wokey McWokeface, as he now wants to be known, is saying. It's also not particularly sad. It's dangerous. Dun, 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 dun. He is just one very privileged man. As a result of said privilege, he has been given a platform. And he has used that platform to legitimize a bigger backlash against diversity and progress, which is unfolding every single day. Oh my God. This is great. Not wanting to date, quote, woke women, far from being laughable, is actually one of the more insidious aspects of it. Spend an afternoon on any major dating app and you'll come across generally white men saying openly ist and misogynistic things. They might say no psychos, or that they really hate big eyebrows in their bio. So? Are you looking for deep thinkers on Tinder? That's not what the app's for, and you know that. And by and large, they also tend to hold extremely right-wing views and see themselves as victims of liberal thinking. What? Citation, please. Oh, wait, this isn't actually about proving anything. Even a single screenshot apparently is too much work. In fact, as I was writing this, a dear friend sent me a screenshot of a guy who she's just matched with who describes Jordan B. Peterson as a dream dinner guest. So? The same Jordan B. Peterson that believes white privilege is a lie. It is a lie. And wants millennials to drop their obsession with social justice. They should. Instead of ranting and raving about things endlessly online, perhaps consider going out and being the change that you want to see. Lead by example. The problem is many of these people don't possess any leadership qualities. I, meanwhile, had to block someone who, after matching with me, launched into a vile rant about how women are evil and only want to hook up and treat men as though they are disposable. Yeah, that's what women use Tinder for. And men. It's the same thing. The reactionary influence of those ideas doesn't stop at dating, though. As the campaign group Hope Not Hate reported last year, that a hostility towards feminism is still feeding directly into far-right movements online. Nobody's making that link except for you. You can hate crazy blue-haired feminists and not be right-wing. I mean, I'd say I'm a pretty decent example of that. There are thousands of other YouTubers who will point out the hilariousness and the absurdity of social justice. Why don't you take a look at Shoe on Head, for example, who's often railing against this kind of thing and as far left as they come. This isn't just speculation. We know the number of far-right referrals to the British government's to prevent whatever. Right now, Lawrence Fox, whether he realizes it or not, has just landed the biggest part of his life. He's legitimizing hatred and division. And yet, he cannot be completely unaware of the role he plays. He has spoken about being radicalized himself on YouTube. This is a great get woke, die alone movement here. Fox, in a case point, might want to start playing devil's advocate by wandering the streets in a MAGA hat to, quote, provoke hipsters, can quickly turn into something more sinister. The far right itself can be difficult to pin down. That's because it's constantly being redefined as anything the media doesn't like, because it isn't exactly a coherent global movement with a concrete set of ideas. It largely exists online in Facebook groups, as Twitter accounts on YouTube, and anonymous message boards such as The Chance. But every now and again, their bile spills out dangerously into the offline world. Make no mistake, the far right is already capitalizing on Fox's words, gassing him up and turning him into an icon. He has added to their backlash and given it oxygen. Every time he is invited on a TV or radio show to talk about it, that oxygen will cause the backlash to burn hotter and faster, irrespective of whether we're watching it or not. It's important to not trivialize this anti-woke, anti-woman backlash. In the end, it's only paying attention to it that we can understand it and do something about it. Ooh, dangerous ideas, everybody. Shockingly dangerous ideas. Again, this article is full of just unsubstantiated rhetoric. And of course, him saying he doesn't want to date woke women is some sort of affront to women in general. I don't believe that that's true. I believe that his statement stands alone, and that whoever wrote this article clearly has TDS because it took him like 2 paragraphs to bring in Drumpf. Now, there are a lot of people out there who think that virtue signaling online is a great thing, and it may be for likes and retweets. But at the end of the day, both men and women that choose to live their life this way, I think as manifestations of their own deep unhappiness, are doomed, in fact, to live alone and to be unhappy. And they will continue to perpetuate that circle of unhappiness because they don't like themselves. And they project that upon everyone else. And it's super transparent. Nobody wants to date somebody who hates themselves. Well, maybe a few people out there are into that. But it's more of a niche, I would say. Ultimately, people want to date happy people. And social justice warriors and woke folks are not happy people. Therefore, well, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, you see. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.